Hello, guys. This is Relukata's new episode. We are In this episode we are going to talk about the upcoming Indian Premier League, which is going to start on Saturday. And this year's IPL, it will be held in UAE across three different stadia. So this year's IPL, it is taking place among this during this COVID-19 pandemic. So it will be slightly different from what IPL has been before. So for that, to talk about IPL, different teams, the venues, and how different this IPL will look like, especially among this biosecure bubble that will be created for IPL to be held in the UAE. So for that, I have invited Clive as a video to from India, who is
Yeah,
an avid Indian cricket fan, also a huge supporter of Pakistan cricket as well, as you might have noticed from his Twitter timeline. So I have invited him to talk about IPL in general, and of course his favorite team, Mumbai Indians. So hello, Clive.
Hi, Vakas. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Just excited for the IPL now.
Yeah, it's less than 48 hours left now,
Yeah.
so the excitation is rising up.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. The
yeah,
thing is, like, it's being held in UAE, so abhi tak, because it's not open to the fans to the ground, to go to the ground and watch it. So basically, we have not seen like the billboards. You don't know there's a major event happening here. Like during PSL, on the last time IPL happened, there were a lot of billboards. You knew like something big is happening, but you don't have that feel this time. Unless you go to those grounds nearby, you might see the team buses here and there, but otherwise, there's nothing much more happening in that sense. But yeah, like there's excitement among Indian fans because finally we get to see our players back after like around 7 months.
yeah,
Last time I think saw them in New Zealand, so now that excitement is there.
yeah, definitely. We haven't seen, especially the Indian cricket players, since this pandemic began, and even before that. So, but first of all, let's talk about the absence of fans in the grounds.
Mhm.
Uh, so, as you mentioned, there will be no cricket fans. So, how do you think that will affect IPL this time around?
Yeah, usually the IPL, especially the biggest part is like which I enjoyed other than the cricket on displays. The fans were there and वो home and away का वो system होता है. So home fans like IPL over the years when it started, there was no concept of like like Chennai fans supporting Chennai Super Kings, that it was not that inbuilt in people
Hmm.
that time. But over the years, because people have grown with their franchises, they have had a connection. So now that is more ingrained in them. So when you go and watch a match, suppose Mumbai plays at Wankhede, you have had cases where people are booing the opposition captain, even though like they have booed Virat Kohli as well uh, on one occasion. So that has happened. There's times when they even like make life tough for the opposition. So that's one big element I think will be missing. Or obviously हमारे लिए for on the ground, like we might have that effect कि they might put crowd noises for us when you're watching it on TV, but it will be a unique experience for the players. A lot of players have said that it's good, like the IPL gives them the motivation कि push yourself a bit ahead, especially when you have people watching you, they have a थोड़ा extra motivation आ जाता है उनमें. So now a lot of players said they have to bring their motivation from within themselves to give instead of 100%, 120%, 130%. तो वो उनका ये ज़हन में होता है कि they have to do much more than before. So that is, I think, going to be a challenge for them. Obviously, fans के लिए तो it doesn't matter much because they might put in the crowd noise, but for the players it's going to matter a lot. And I think it's a safe thing because obviously IPL has invested a lot in ensuring that biosecure bubble ho jaye and the players have limited interactions with anyone outside this bubble, or actually no interaction at all for the matter for a matter of fact. So abhi ke liye, if they are reducing fans, I understand why they are doing it, but there has been some talk about introducing fans at some point in the tournament. Ganguly has said it that we will have fans at some stage of the tournament. So let's see when that happens.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that would certainly be interesting. I was just watching this Afghan Shafagiza Premier
Yeah.
League final, and they had a lot of fans in the stadium. Uh, so I don't know how secure that is, but they
Uh,
certainly had fans. But probably the entry of fans can be managed, or they can be allowed inside the stadium as long as they are keeping a safe distance. So maybe 30% or 20% capacity of the
uh,
stadium. Uh,
yeah, they have discussed all that. They have. I have heard initial reports say that there'll be like at least 40% fans allowed, but Ganguly has come out and said that it will be as low as 30%. But as long as there are fans in the stadium, at least, because
yeah,
there are a lot of Indians over here and they really want to watch the heroes. The last time India came here was during the Asia Cup,
yeah,
and the games were jam packed. All India games were full, except
yeah,
when they played Hong Kong and Afghanistan, which matches which are unfortunately played on the weekdays. The remaining India Pakistan match, Bangladesh match, they were all jam packed. In even those Afghanistan matches, once people left work, you could see the stadiums at least half fill up. So there's a lot of craze among Indians over here, especially for Indian cricketers. So if there's an opportunity for Indians to go and watch the cricketers play, I'm sure that even that 30% will make a huge noise in the stadium and huge impact. So that is one thing which, if that happens, that's a good thing. But I wouldn't mind if it doesn't happen, because safety is, as long as we have a league going on, that's what matters to me.
yeah, yeah. Cricket is of the foremost importance in this
Mm.
current situation. But
Yes.
I'm sure if the fans are allowed, then you will be looking for a ticket yourself as well.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but talking about how the players can perform, probably some of the players they will need to find a motivation, but some of the players might thrive in the absence of fans, especially
Mm.
if you have to bowl in front of a hostile Wankhede Stadium,
Yeah.
your last over. Probably you would not mind if the stadium was fully empty instead.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
exactly. I think one of the players during the CPL also said something on this lines that that he's like, for him at least it worked in that sense that he doesn't have to think, there's no one else watching him. He just imagined that this is an empty stadium, it's a practice match, and he just went and balled his overs, while others had that sense, clarity, that okay, anyways, when I'm playing in front of fans also, I tune them out, so this is nothing new for me. But still, I think that matters a lot, fans.
yeah, 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 for sure.
uh,
So we will switch the topic. Uh, I will say, I will ask you, this time IPL will be held in UAE. So there are going to be only three stadiums instead of home and away matches for each team, as it used to happen in the previous IPL editions.
yeah.
So how much do you think that is, we know that it is going to have an effect, but how much of it is going to have an effect on different teams?
Oh, okay. So basically, the PSL, when it used to happen over here at the start of the tour, like they used to, I think you must have noticed it this season that in PSL there were a lot more higher scores. There were teams easily scoring 165 plus, and and some teams easily chased it down. While when PSL happened in UAE, that 165 plus was a luxury target. So same thing. This is the reverse effect happening for the IPL, because in IPL, except Chennai and to certain extent Hyderabad, all these venues are high scoring. Wankhede, RCB, Kolkata, Delhi Capitals also had some high scoring games. Punjab's ground. So all these venues are conducive to high scoring. But now that they're coming here to to UAE, okay, they'll be playing in venues where the pitches are slower, and it's going to assist bowlers more, especially spinners. And given that the whole tournament is being played here, yeah, they are fresh pitches going to be, and I think the first few games will be suiting, will suit the batsman a lot more. But once the games go on, the pitches will tire down, and then you will see the actual UE pitch play on. So I expect high scoring starts here and there, but once the tournament is in whole swing, you will see a drop in runs, and I'm definitely seeing sure that there's going to be a lot of uh, a huge dip in boundaries this year, because it's expected like UAE is not that great, except Sharjah. UAE is not that great for boundary scoring, and the pitches are too slow for that to happen. That is how Pakistan built their game here, T20 cricket game, on these UAE pitches. The pitches were so good for their bowling that all they had to do was post a par total. That is something IPL teams would have to do here as well. The only venue which I'm actually looking forward to for games here is Sharjah, because Sharjah is the closest. It's not exactly like Wankhede, but it's the closest to grounds like Wankhede and Chinnaswamy, where बाउंड्री स्कोरिंग. सबसे पहले तो शारजा का ग्राउंड छोटा भी है, okay, and the pitches are much more flatter in Sharjah, so that is a huge advantage. So teams looking over here playing over here will easily have that advantage कि they can easily clear boundaries and they have a flat pitch as well. That is one. So or Abu Dhabi में तो the pitches are like the pitches are very slow. On to top it all of, it's the biggest ground in UAE, so boundary scoring is very low there, in my opinion. It's around like 3.5 runs per over compared to 3.5 runs in boundaries per over compared to around 4.4 in Sharjah. So that's almost a run ka difference between these two sides. And then we have seen PSL being played in Dubai and Sharjah. Sharjah has always had the high scoring games in PSL. So the classics like wo KP ka knock has against for Quetta against Lahore happened in Sharjah. That Asif's blitzkrieg also some have happened in Sharjah. So all these like Sharjah ke venues are going to have like more effect on that. But the good thing about that is like IPL अगर home and away नहीं हो रहा है, like except Mumbai and KKR who are going to play a lot of games in Abu Dhabi, all the other teams have like mix and match games. Like they'll play some in Abu Dhabi, some in Dubai, some in Sharjah. So unka evenly balanced out है, the other teams except Mumbai and KKR. So they will not have like one whole advantage here in such. There's like home and advantage itna nahi hoga, but Chennai will enjoy Chennai will enjoy Dubai for sure, because that pitch takes a turn and they have a lot of spinners in their side, so they are going to enjoy that. While every team plays like 3 games in Sharjah, so they're going to have 3 games where they can go for their big hitting can flourish. So let's see how that works out for teams over there.
Yeah, certainly. And as far as I remember, those games, PSL games that were played at Sharjah Stadium, I remember even if the pitches sometimes they were not that great, but still the ground is so small that it is very easy to clear the boundaries. And there was a lot of 6 hitting and 4 hitting in that stadium. So the totals, even if the pitch was bad on a day, the totals were still quite high.
Yeah.
So yes, have all the teams having 3 matches in Sharjah, that will even out the advantage there. But teams having different matches in Dubai, different match distribution in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, that might have effect.
And teams actually will have more teams who have to go to Abu Dhabi and play will have a more of a challenge, because they'll have to adapt quickly. They'll have to have they'll first of all need to get tests. I don't think so that COVID tests will matter much, but they have to adapt. They are not allowed to they are not allowed to see the pitch before before the match day. Usually क्या होता है कि in IPL you arrive the day before the match or 2 days before the match, and you get to see the pitch the day before the match. But now because of these restrictions, teams are allowed to go. Suppose you go to Abu Dhabi, okay, and you can't come back from Abu Dhabi, you need to have a fresh set of tests done. So I think that is one issue which might happen for teams like that. So they don't get to see the pitch until the match day. So that is something which teams have to think about before going. They'll have to analyze the pitches a lot more than usual, I think, just from watching a TV. So, or they might be a thousand other ways they'll have to do things. So we don't know how that's going to work out now, but teams will have to figure out a way to gain the small advantage which will matter at the end of the day. Because at T20 cricket, it's just these 1%, 2% things which help you win tournaments. So that's one thing which teams have to look out for. And on the other hand, one thing I forgot to completely mention: Mumbai and KKR are teams which love hitting sixes, but they are playing most of their matches at grounds where six hitting is the worst in UAE. I saw a stat today कि in Abu Dhabi में there's a six hit every 49 balls, or Mumbai में there was a six hit every 16 balls, or KKR में and in Kolkata every 15 balls. So this is going to be like a huge change. Like it's going to be a huge shift for these guys, because ये लोग अपने सारे रन सिक्स हिटिंग में ही मारते हैं. तो it's going to be like a challenge for these guys as well. Pandya, Pollard, Mumbai's batting order, KKR's batting order is geared towards maximum six hitting. तो उनको बड़ा challenge होगा. Even though they are playing 8 games, they'll have to like adapt really quick, because you can't be losing games in what is basically your home venue right now in the IPL.
Yeah, those were some great points, Clive. So anyway, we move on to the first game that is going to be played between Mumbai Indians and Chennai Super Kings, and we can discuss those two teams. So starting with your favorite Mumbai Indians. So what do you think of the squad and the strong players in that squad?
Yeah, this time Mumbai Indians, when they went to the auction this time, they just went for players who as backups. Unka to first 11 is set, and that means they just need to find backups. So they've got Chrislin as a backup, and they got Nathan Coulter-Nine as another backup. And through a trade, they got Trent Bolt back into their setup. They got Trent Bolt into their setup. So they have just covered their bases here and there, and that's it. Like, this team is still strong. The only biggest miss, I think, I would say, was Lasith Malinga, because his death bowling is really valuable on these pitches, which is much more slower. It would have been much more valuable for Mumbai Indians. तो वो बात आती है कि how Mumbai basically have to adapt in one department, which is their death bowling right now, और उनका spin, like obviously this team was created in putting Wankhede in mind, and अब ये change हो गया है, तो it looks like the spin department is weaker, especially considering the conditions you are going to play in, because you have Krunal Pandya, who is he's not a top spinner in this team, because Rohit doesn't usually ball out his 4 overs. He usually uses him in specific matchup situations आता है, and that's how Rohit uses him. तो premier spinner है Rahul Chahar, and he has been good. He has a lot of scope, and I think he has potential to play for India as well. He has already played for India actually, but he has potential to do well in Indian colors as well. So, but he still doesn't have experience of that level. So the thing is कि Mumbai's spin department compared to the rest of the other franchises looks a lot weaker. तो वो एक weak point है. But the batting, you have Rohit Sharma, Quinton de Kock, Ishan Kishan, Surya Kumar Yadav, Pollard, Hardik Pandya, Krunal Pandya. You have this deep middle order, and you have this stacked middle order. So Mumbai Indians ki batting looks very solid. So they look like a good team on paper. So hopefully they even push the results out, because this is a team of quality. So quality results bhi aane chahiye. And I think they have a good chance, of providing results. Obviously, तो it's just about adaptability कि अब ये matches Abu Dhabi में ज़्यादा होंगे, so they have to focus on how they're going to change, because they can't go with their original game plan they had, like how they will play at Wankhede. In a way, they have to adapt, and they have to adapt like straight away right now. And I think they must have worked on it in the last 1 month. So let's see how they go.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see that. I guess they will have to ask their faster men to ball more into the pitch,
Yeah.
and make it difficult for the batsman to, you know,
Huh.
hit the ball. So
I think in some of the practice videos I've seen them trying stuff like that. So let's see, maybe they might actually do that off in the opening games. So let's see, we'll find out very soon actually.
yeah, yeah. So after that, we can move on to Chennai Super Kings.
Uh,
Most most of those players who are quite old, and some of them have pulled out as well. So it leaves them with some difficult uh,
uh,
with some difficult questions. What do you think?
yeah, Chennai basically, the only reason I'm not going to rule them out, even though they have had these setbacks, is because they have a very experienced unit. Okay, like they have the most they have 16 players who are over 35 this
Yeah,
year in the IPL, और 6 तो उनके टीम से आ रहे हैं. And the thing is, these players are experienced. Watson, Bravo, Faf du Plessis, Imran Tahir,
yeah,
then you have Dhoni. These are all very experienced names, okay, and they exactly know what their role is within the team.
yeah.
तो ब्रावो ने तो पिछले साल भी कहा था कि we don't have pre-match meetings. हम लोग ग्राउंड पे आते हैं and we just know what to do.
Mm, mm,
तो ये टीम तो बेसिकली इनके दिमाग में ड्रिल्ड है कि इनका काम क्या है, एंड ऑब्वियसली ये तो एक्सपीरियंस के साथ आता ही है, that you know
mm.
what your job is and all that. So that's this obviously this year Raina is not there for them. Harbhajan has pulled out as well. So there are going to be challenges, but I'm there's no doubt in my mind that Dhoni would find a way within the team to make this work for him. He's going to find like he obviously find some younger player. He might, and he's obviously going to put up like, okay, Raina has gone away, so a left-hander has gone missing completely from their batting unit. So unko, he might try out someone else. He might try out Jadeja up the order, Sam Curran up the order. There are so many options for him to do tinker with this, and I'm sure Dhoni will find a way. Though, like people have already said कि चेन्नई का थोड़ा problem हो सकता है because they have lost their players, key players, and it's
Yeah,
understandable. They have had like a bad start to their session, to their whole time in UAE with the COVID cases coming up, and
yeah,
obviously it's a setback कि आप इतना late start कर रहे हो. So these things like all is a huge setback anyways. But if there's one team which can bounce back from it, that is Chennai, and they have a captain in Dhoni who can actually do this. And I know captaincy in T20 cricket matters, matters to some extent, क्योंकि आपकी सारी game plan तो before the match बनी जाती है with your analyst and all. But the thing is, Dhoni isn't the guy who always like looks at game plans and all. उसका तो thinking ही different है in that sense. He looks at how he can like best. He has the best spinners. उसके पास पीयूष चावला है, रविंद्र जडेजा है, इमरान ताहिर है, मिचेल सैंटनर भी है. So he has his spinners, और I think for me he is the best captain of spinners. तो
yeah,
और ये तो games तो इधर venue में खेले जा रहे हैं जहाँ spin will matter a lot. So he's definitely going to play a huge part in this. If he can, he'll make that work, and there's no doubt about it. कि Chennai can do well. Okay, here and there they might face troubles, but then obviously they have the personnel to like pull it off.
yeah, yeah. Certainly, I think they will be very competitive, even with all these setbacks. And as we have seen in the previous years, these are the experienced guys who have performed for this team, and probably they will find a way this time around as well. The likes of Watson and Bravos and Dhoni himself. And these are very slow pitches, so you might not need a lot of six hitting as well.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
anyway, uh, so moving on to KKR, Kolkata Knight Riders,
Uh,
and there we have the most expensive player in Pat Cummins and the likes of Tom Benton, and I see this
Ian Morgan.
guy Ali Khan as well, who is
Yeah.
basically a
First US
Pakistani
player.
playing from USA.
Yeah, yeah. First US player basically.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah. Yeah. KKR का तो I really feel bad in one sense कि उनकी team is so made in one direction कि यार हम लोग they are basically, how do you say, they are the West Indies जो 2016 की team World T20 team थी कि we will hit sixes, we will smash the attack out of the game. Okay, हमारी bowling कितनी भी घटिया हो, our job is कि हम लोग इतना मारेंगे कि that is what is going to win us the games. हमारे 8 overs ही अच्छे bowlers के, कुलदीप और नारायण के 8 overs और कई से 4-5 overs और निकाल के we will try to win the game with the ball. Their focus was never to win the game with the ball, but to always outbat the opposition.
Yeah.
And this year उनका पूरा plan went backward on them कि अब पूरा venue shift हो गया है और venue में their bowling has to stand out for them. They can't afford to, like have depend on their batting completely at all times, and that is where they have like a huge gaping hole. Because they have Sunil Narayan, fine. They have Kuldeep Yadav, who had a horrid season, but I'm sure he's going to make like a strong comeback, especially on these pitches. So uska comeback banta hi hai. And then they have Pat Cummins, Lockie Ferguson, and their Indian bowling is very inexperienced. They have Prasidh Krishna, Shivam Mavi, Kamlesh Nagarkoti. So all these guys have no experience. So like her team में Indian fast bowler recognizable face है, okay, but KKR sadly don't have one and they can't even fall back on these guys. So it is their overseas players which will have to do bulk of the heavy lifting, especially in bowling. Sunil Narayan has to step up definitely for KKR and he will step up. Kuldeep Yadav तो एक है. It depends on Pat Cummins को इतने पैसे दिए तो they'll have to find a way to slot him in and they'll have to find a role for him in the team. And I think KKR ने तो decide कर ही लिया है कि death bowling is going to be his role because they are going to use the inexperienced bowlers in the power play. So they have a lot of problems with their bowling, but if it's their batting I think can win them games here and there. So yeah, that is a bit odd situation. They are unfortunate कि थोड़ा इधर shift हो गया, so they can't play their natural game. But I am actually very interested to see how they're going to adapt right now, because they'll have to find a way. Shubman Gill, Dinesh Karthik, all these guys need to step up and find new avenues of making scores with their bowling and defend. So that is going to be a very interesting challenge.
Yeah, but looking at the big overseas players that they have got in their squad, who do you think will be in their main playing 11 that we will see most often?
For me, it has to be Sunil Narayan, Andre Russell, Pat Cummins, and Ian Morgan. These four have to play for KKR. Like you have a good strong case for Lockie Ferguson, but KKR ki batting needs some kind of big hitting.
Yeah.
They are dependent on big hitting, so why not put all your eggs in that basket, Abibi, and see, because they have bowling is not going to basically win them games because either you have to give up on somewhere. It's a trade-off. So unki trade-off pe, it's better off that they go with their good overseas players and try help them to win the games. So for me, that is our Ian Morgan में तो form भी अच्छा है. So I think it will be really criminal of KKR to waste his good form right now. We saw how he did against Pakistan in the T20 series. So if they want, they should capitalize on his good form. Russell का तो हमें मालूम है, Narayan का भी मालूम है. Cummins I think will play because of that price tag. So let's see how these four players are my main picks for KKR right now.
Yeah. But I think we will have to wait and see how Andre Russell feels like, because he was carrying some injury in the CPL matches that I was watching. So, but other than that, I agree with you that they should not change their main strategy of big six hitting in favor of strengthening their bowling for these pitches. Yeah. So we can move on to Delhi Capitals, and they have quite a nice squad. What do you think about them? Some very nice, some very talented young players, and some old heads, but they are quite experienced and like Ishant Sharma and Stoinis. Those players, they have a lot of experience, and uh, they have performed very well at the international level as well. So, what do you think about them?
Yeah, Delhi Capitals. So basically, they have to be spin heavy this season. They have a lot of spinners in their side, and they have batsmen. Most of their batsmen are good at playing spin. तो उनका अगर आप देख ले पृथ्वी शॉ है एक who provides explosive starts in the power play. तो you
Wow.
have Shikhar Dhawan also who basically anchor role करता है अभी. You have Shreyas Iyer
Yeah.
who's very good against spin. Then I have Rishabh Pant who's good against all types of bowling. और आपका अजिंक्य रहाणे भी आ गया. Then you have and then on the bowling end if you go you have Ashwin, Akshar Patel, Amit Mishra, संदीप लमिचाने. तो ये चार प्लेयर्स लाइक दिल्ली कैपिटल्स का ये प्रॉब्लम ये होगा ये साल कि हाउ डू यू accommodate a 11 which is like gets the whole advantage of the whole situation. क्योंकि overseas players में according to me they will go with Rabada.
Yeah.
The Rabada will play and they have to Shimron Hetmeyer is one guy who has to play as well. और बाकी दो spots में toss up होगा because they could easily go for Carey and Stoinis or they could go for Lamichane and one of Carey or Stoinis. तो वो देखना पड़ेगा कि वो अपने फोर्थ लाइक अपने ओवरसीज स्पॉट्स के साथ क्या करते हैं. And I think I would prefer that they play Hetmeyer, they even have Daniel Sams or not here from the South African bowler as well. So they have to find a way कि the Indian players का काम हो जाएगा. Like Indian players do their best and then the overseas players support this system. क्योंकि Rabada तो is definitely playing. They have to find the three players who can do best with this Delhi Capital side. And I think उनका 11 will be a lot dependent on who they are playing. क्योंकि मैचअप सिचुएशन भी आ जाती है and all that comes into play. So that is how I think Delhi is set up कि ये साल तो मैचअप्स पे what their picks are playing 11 is going to be very data driven in that sense कि matchups पे grounds पे conditions पे वो सब पे होगा. So let's see how they do because uh, I feel they have a chance but you can they have put their eggs in a lot of they have eggs in the basket ki spin pe jeetna hai. So I hope that actually works for them because a good Delhi side like Delhi is one side where I felt really bad for क्योंकि they have not been consistent और अब ये team core अच्छी बन रही है. So you should try a way to win at least with this core of players right now.
Yeah, but definitely, although they have quite good spinners, but in Rabada and Ishan Sharma, they do have quite competent fast bowlers as well. So one can pick them as a very strong contender this time around.
Fast bowlers, so obviously they are good. Like Rabada is good, but the other fast bowling, like it's not like the best fast bowling you can have.
Yeah.
It's like good enough. So wo chalega. It's the spinners who are going to be playing the major role in their bowling this year.
Yeah. So then we move on to RCB. And they will have few puzzles to solve. So what do you think about their team?
Yeah, first of all, so I was like last night looking at RCB's squad and to be very honest, जब आपका एक ये मेगा ऑक्शन आता है तो the mega auction sets your franchise pathway for the next 3 years. क्योंकि mega auction पे आप you can define how you want your team to play for the next 3 years and you can select your players accordingly. Or the thing is they messed up the mega auction in the sense that they didn't have the right amount of players. The players suited for the ground. They messed up on a lot of levels. But I have to give credit कि ये साल मेगा ऑक्शन नहीं था, but they actually rebuilt a team on fly, or on the sense they have improved a lot of situations. जो एक the last 2 seasons, the biggest issue which RCB had was they were very dependent on Kohli and AB de Villiers. ठीक है, like 45% of runs तो ये इन दोनों से ही आते थे. So and that is something which you honestly can't afford with a side. With a side like RCB, आप like most teams, you know, आप दूसरे players भी chip in करते हैं, but this team RCB का वही struggle था कि these two guys are chipping in. And if you get them, then the rest of the guys, so it's easily manageable. It's not happening ki, like, you know, they are going to win you games on their own type players. Aisa nahi tha. So that is the thing about RCB. And this year they have done well by getting in Fitch, okay, who, if he opens with Devdutt Padikkal, who had a great Syed Mushtaq Ali trophy. Okay, sorry, even the domestic one day trophy. So they've got him in the picture, and he opens with Finch. So that is the opening problem sorted up. Virat or AB de Villiers can come in at 3, 4, or whatever, 3 or 5, whatever the situation demands. And वो थोड़ा pressure हट जाता है कि run scoring इन पे नहीं आती अभी. They have lot more options of run scoring top the order. और उसके बाद तो मोइन अली भी है. They have Chris Morris as well for scoring runs. तो बेसिकली आरसीबी के रन स्कोरिंग अब एक मैन पे डिपेंड नहीं करता है. सो दैट गिव्स मोर फ्रीडम टू कोहली एंड डिविलियर्स टू गो आउट एंड प्ले देयर, यू नो, एग्रेसिव गेम स्टाइल की. ठीक है, आई डोंट नीड टू लाइक प्ले विद इन माई सेल्फ, क्योंकि अगर मैं आउट होता हूँ तो टीम गिर जाएगी. दे कैन गो एंड प्ले आउट एंड दे कैन प्ले देयर नेचुरल गेम. सो दैट इज अ ह्यूज एडवांटेज. और दूसरा एडवांटेज ये था, ऑब्वियसली दे बिल्ड देयर टीम फॉर चिन्नास्वामी, बट दूसरा एडवांटेज ये कि अब यूएई में खेल रहे हैं. So a batsman like Kohli on such slow pitches is going to be a huge asset.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, he's not expected, but he's going to be a huge asset on pitches like this. So he's going to he's going to love it over here. In that sense, that वो अपना natural game खेलेगा, he can definitely get more boundaries over here. Running between the wickets is obviously a prized asset in grounds in UAE, especially Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So he's going to love scoring runs like that. तो वो आती है. The only issue with this side is कि उनकी Indian middle order batting थोड़ी weak है, and it's not like really weak, but it's a cause of concern a bit if you have to nitpick, that is. और death bowling में उनका बस they have Navdeep Saini, but they don't have any support. Like Chris Morris है, and he has been good in death bowling here and there, but last season he was not trusted with death bowling with Delhi Capitals. तो वो देखना चाहिए. Like that is one issue, but RCB have a really good chance actually to qualify for the playoffs this year, and playoffs के बाद तो it is just lottery. It's on how you go. So I think RCB has a good chance, and credit has to go to Mike Hesson for building the team in such a great way after, you know, all the disastrous 2 seasons.
Yeah. So after that, we go to Rajasthan Royals, and there we have the triplet of Jofra Archer, Joss Butler, and Ben Stokes. And Steve Smith is their captain, along with some interesting youngsters like Yashasvi, Jaiswal, and so on. So I think they have a good squad. But what are your thoughts about that squad?
यार, so this is like usually अगर आप एक league खेलते हैं, like this is one thing which I been told during PSL's time as well, कि आप अपने foreign players पे इतना जोर ना डालो, okay, because you can obviously find options with your foreign players. Okay, you can find your foreign players, unless he's a really good one like Andre Russell or like Sunil Narayan. Okay, a foreign player is not going to make much of a difference.
Yeah.
In the sense that he's going to come and just enhance your team balance. He enhance your team, but what matters is the 7 other players in your team. Okay, so that's a problem with Rajasthan Royals. Ki the 7 other players with Rajasthan Royals are inexperienced or not that good enough in T20 terms. I'm not counting them out, obviously, because Rajasthan always punches above their weight. But this is like their 7 Indian players doesn't inspire, and they're not going to challenge other teams. But
Hmm.
if it depends on the overseas players, and you can rely on the overseas players a lot. Okay, but obviously उनका वो challenge हो गया कि who do you play, because Steve Smith is definitely playing, Butler is definitely playing. Stokes का situation we currently don't know right now.
Hmm.
He's not in the UE as we speak. There's Jofra Archer who's playing, and they have to like find who the fourth player is. They could play either Tom Curran, or they
Andrew
could
Ty.
play uh-huh
Andrew Ty.
yeah, Andrew Ty. So उनके दिमाग में that is the only questions right now, because they are they have talented Indian players like Riyan Parag, Yashasvi Jaiswal, uh,
Sanju Samson.
Jaydev Unadkar, Sanju Samson, Karthik Tyagi. They have talent, no doubt about it, but it's still not inspiring enough कि और ये तो they are the youngest side in the IPL by average age, so it's going to be very inexperienced as well. So वो let's see how they work. Maybe playing in front of no fans is going to work in their advantage. So that is one thing. Otherwise, Rajasthan Royals से इतने like I don't expect a lot from them, but I wouldn't be surprised also if they punch above their weight, because they have a really good captain in Steve Smith.
Hmm. What do you think about their spin options? Do they have good spin options? I see Markande, but other than that, do you see?
Shreyas Gopal is there, and he's a very talented leg spinner. He last season he was like the giant killer. He got
Hmm.
AB de Villiers, he got Virat Kohli, he got Rohit Sharma. So he was always a challenge for the other side, for the opposition. So ये साल भी also I expect him to do very well on that front. And he's going to love bowling on these, because he is the one bowler who uses उसके speed variations are very important for him. So on pitches like especially in Dubai, where his variation of speed is going to matter a lot, because Dubai में थोड़ा ball grip होता है, and in Abu Dhabi as well it grips, so he's going to like enjoy that a lot. So I'm actually excited to see Shreyas Gopal work well, because uski he can obviously create a lot of damage to the opposition side in his 4 overs. So hopefully he does that well. But yeah, and there's even Riyan Parag, but he doesn't bowl that many overs, but उससे भी expectations है to do well with the ball.
Hmm. Okay. चलो हम इसके बाद बात करते हैं सनराइजर्स हैदराबाद की। तो आपका क्या ख्याल है इनके बारे में? दे हैव क्वाइट स्ट्रॉन्ग स्क्वाड विद डेविड वार्नर्स एंड Johnny Bairstow opening, and then the Afghan
Afghan duo, Nabi and
yeah,
Rashid.
yeah,
Yeah, this after Mumbai, this is like my favorite team to watch in the sense क्योंकि I like obviously like I think T20 cricket वो होता है ना कि आप ज़्यादा boundary से जीतते हैं, but when in 2018 SRH completely flipped the narrative कि आप bowling से भी जीत सकते हैं
yeah.
type thing. So I really enjoy that because they are a bowling heavy side.
They could be a
They
PSL team, I would say.
exactly like some I discussed this I think last year with someone on Twitter because they kept on saying कि जिस तरह like PSL में इतने teams they focus on bowling like easily IPL Sunrisers भी वही करती है. So उनकी बैटिंग तो यार डेविड वार्नर that guy is like an absolute beast. I wouldn't be surprised अगर हैदराबाद में उसके लिए वो लोग they might just give him Hyderabad like the key of Hyderabad क्योंकि यार बंदा इतना consistent है. For the last 5 seasons he has continuously scored 500 runs plus every season. Yeah, that consistency is unreal. And his runs per innings is 50, 52, I think 52, 54 runs per innings मारता है बंदा. And that is downright ridiculous in a format like T20 cricket की ये बंदा जाते हैं और हर मैच में आपको 50 तो मार के ही दे सकता है.
Or
And
explosive start.
yeah, and that is like और वो और यार ये साल तो and last season तो he had Bairstow. This year also he's back with them. So that opening partnership was absolutely brutal on some teams. Like
Yeah,
once they both got set, it was really difficult to stop those guys. So that is one thing Kane Williamson be a team man. Kane Williamson or these pitchers would get into any team. He would easily, but
Hmm.
SRH की overseas जो combination है wouldn't allow it because यार बेस्ट आपको बेस्टो भी चाहिए for the explosive starts. आपको वार्नर तो पक्का खेलेगा and
Hmm.
it will be criminal if you don't play Nabi and Rashid on these pitches.
Yeah.
तो उनका यही होता है. अब इंडियन कंटिजेंट पे अब बात आती है कि बॉलिंग थोड़ा has gone down this year in the sense कि Bhuvi has come back after a long break. Sid
Hmm.
Kaul had an off season last year. Uh, so Sid Kaul, then Sandeep
Hmm.
Sharma also had Khalil Ahmed was good last season,
Hmm.
and the Indian middle order batting actually they got rid of Yusuf Pathan and Deepak Huda, so they got guys like Abdul Samad, Virat Singh, and Priyam Garg. Now these guys are youngsters in experience. And Abdul Samad से तो बहुत होप है. वो लड़का जम्मू एंड कश्मीर से आया है and he's been known for his six setting talent. तो उसने तो सईद मुश्ताक अली में his primary mode of scoring was sixes. और
Hmm.
Irfan Pathan ने has spoken highly about him. VVS Lakshman has said कि Abdul Samad is the guy we are looking for the finishing role. तो
Hmm.
expectations बहुत है बंदों से, but that's the only thing कि inexperience है ये लोग. So it will be interesting to see how these guys go. क्योंकि the only issue with uh, SRH right now in their batting is their death batting. क्योंकि death overs में they were I think one of the lowest scoring teams in the death overs, scoring
Hmm.
at ठीक है. Chennai Super Kings was the worst in the sense कि they used to score only 9.2. But
Hmm.
उनके आधे games तो चेन्नई में थे, which was a horrible pitch to bat on. But SRH didn't have such issues और उनके 9.4 था. So वो question mark आता है कि have they improved that? We'll have to see. और वो बहुत depend करते हैं on likes of Abdul Samad, Manish Pandey और अब राशिद खान has improved his batting a lot. तो उसका भी देखना चाहिए कि how is he going to work for Sunrisers. So I'm expecting Sunrisers to do well because bowling conditions है और उनकी bowling बहुत अच्छी है, but and their batting always does their bit. But for some reason a lot of analysts don't give them hope, but I think they can do well.
So we move on to Kings 11 Punjab. So they have their two Karnataka boys, KL Rahul, Mayank Agarwal, and then it will be interesting to see if Chris Gale will feature in their teams. And
यार
yeah,
Chris Gayle का okay, he has not played CPL
yeah,
this year because of I think personal issues or whatever थे,
mm,
but Chris Gayle की a team में जगह नहीं बनती because they might have to go the other way of like picking. They have to pick Nicholas Puran, Glenn Maxwell,
yeah,
and they have to decide कि उनके overseas players कौन है. Like another one is
Mujib,
Mujibur Rahman
yeah,
जो पक्का ही
Chris
खेलेगा
Jordan,
अभी. और हाँ वही वो फोर्थ स्पॉट पे दे हैव अ क्वेश्चन मार्क कि कौन खेलेगा. क्रिस जॉर्डन, जिबन नीशम, शेल्डन कॉटरेल. तो इनके ये ऑप्शंस है.
yeah,
Chris Gayle, they have an option of going with Chris Gayle, but if they don't go with if they go with Chris Gayle, their bowling suffers because
mm,
they don't have Indian bowlers who are good enough to bowl in the death. तो उनका that is a question mark for Kings 11 Punjab because if they use Chris Gayle, they are giving up on a bowler and they would
mm,
rather go with that bowler और जो उनके बैटिंग because ओपनिंग में आपके केएल राहुल तो आ ही सकते हैं मयंक अग्रवाल के साथ. और मयंक अग्रवाल and KL Rahul have gone back a long way. They have been playing for Karnataka for ages.
yeah,
So that is that combination, that connection they both have. So that is something which will work well for them if Chris Gayle is not in the lineup. और उनकी और they have good Indian contingent तो ठीक ठाक ही है, like not the best you can say, but they have like a young spinner in Ravi Bishnoi who did very well, a top wicket taker at the Under 19 World Cup.
mm,
And और उनका कोच तो कुंबले भी है. So Kumble playing coaching a wrist spinner is going to be like obviously a great thing for me.
mm,
और रवि बिश्नोई से तो expectations ही है after what he has done in the Under 19 World Cup. And let's see उनका क्या क्या होता है. They even have Krishnappa Gautam जो वो भी कर्नाटका से है. He
mm,
is also good teammates with these guys. तो देखना है कि how do they actually do. Kings 11 Punjab can string उनका वही problem हमेशा यार है कि over dependency on KL Rahul. वो last two seasons में KL Rahul पे इतनी over dependency की थी कि like KL Rahul के बिना उनका runs per innings गिर जाता था, run rate गिर जाता था, everything it was too over dependent. अगर आप पूरन और मैक्सवेल को खेलेंगे in the lower order, then it gives KL Rahul the freedom कि यार he doesn't need to bat the whole way of the innings. He can attack up the top and then he can play himself, stagger himself and play the innings. और वो Maxwell और पूरन big hitting कर सकते हैं around him. तो उनका थोड़ा वो works for them well. So that is what Kings 11 Punjab have to keep in mind right now.
Yeah, 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 definitely with Glenn Maxwell in good form and Nicholas Puran in also pretty good form. The way he played in the CPL, a couple of matches, especially. So I think their middle order will be much better this time. But of course, they have some problems in their bowling. I can see only Mohammad Shami and Mujibur Rahman as good enough bowlers, good bowlers. But other than that, I don't see much hope.
That's why they have to depend on their another overseas spot. Because Chris Jordan, they have to find a way to get either Chris Jordan or Jimmy Neesham to be playing.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we are done with all of the teams. We have discussed all of them. So I will just give you a chance to give your top four that you think will make it to the top four.
Oh, okay. This is tough for me. For it would be Mumbai, RCB,
Yeah.
Delhi
Okay.
Capitals,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think it should be a toss-up between SRH and CSK for the
Mm-hmm.
fourth spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Mm. वैसे what do you think about the IPL being a Pakistani because I know we have BCCI has been very harsh on Pakistani players not playing the IPL, and I honestly believe कि अगर we have Pakistani players in the IPL, it will just enhance the league and it will open up a new market for us. And
Yeah.
I would obviously love to see someone like Shaheen Shah Afridi play for a team like Mumbai Indians. हम तो Mumbai Indians love left-arm fast bowlers, and if Shaheen plays for
Yeah.
us, it would be like chef's kiss for us. So, what do
Yeah.
you think about that? Like, watching Indian as a Pakistani watching IPL.
Yeah. To be honest, when the first time IPL started, and Pakistani players were included back in 2008, I think. And then everyone was, or people around me, they were glued to the TV when IPL was on. But after that, when the problems started and they did not allow Pakistani players to feature in, I think most of the Pakistanis, they switched off from IPL. I didn't see as many people watching IPL. But in the recent years, I think even though you see that the Pakistani players, they are still not allowed, but I see that after PSL, people don't mind watching IPL as well, because for uh, for uh, for people that I talk to, they think that it's just another league. It's okay that Pakistani players are not allowed, although we would love to have Pakistani players uh, being included in IPL. And some of the players, they will enhance their reputation as well, playing in that. I would admit that it's the foremost franchise tournament in the world right now. So some of the players, they will enhance their reputation playing in that league as well. And it would be, of course, interesting to see how the friendships come along between Pakistani and Indian players. And I think there will be some heartwarming stories
Yeah.
coming from IPL if players are allowed. But anyway, as that has not happened until now, since the first season or first couple of seasons,
First
Uh,
season since 2009, there have been no Pakistani players,
yeah,
sadly.
yeah. So I think it's not it's not the best thing for us as Pakistani fans, uh, especially in those years when there was no PSL. So Pakistani players did not have any opportunity to play against world-class players except when they played the international T20 tournaments or matches.
Mm.
So then it was a struggle for them. And even though Pakistan managed to survive in those years, but I think they have taken a hit in terms of how they play. Surely surely they will benefit a lot if they are to play in IPL.
Yeah,
But let's see.
obviously.
Yeah, but let's see if that ever happens. It doesn't look very possible at the moment with the kind of situation that that has been going on between the two
Yeah, yeah.
countries.
Yeah, that's very actually. I've talked to some Pakistani players about like with the IPL, and they always said कि यार why wouldn't you dream of playing in such a big league, because they have obviously they say कि अगर PSL में we get to learn from a lot of players, and overseas players say we learn a lot, सीखने को बहुत बहुत कुछ मिलता है, because when I was with Islamabad United, these players used to go and talk to the overseas players, and that interaction was you could it was like a 5 minutes talk, but you could learn a lot from the interaction between these players. आपको वो experience knowledge sharing हो जाती है. So why wouldn't you want, because IPL में सारे the world's best players turn up. वो BBL में नहीं होता है इतना,
Hmm.
okay, CPL में भी इतना नहीं होता है, okay, like not like some good players go there, but it's not always like whole the world's best T20 players show up in one league. वो बस IPL में ही होता है.
Hmm.
And obviously they have the same. Why wouldn't we want to go and learn from them as
Yeah,
well? You
that's
obviously learn tricks here and there, तो वही बात आती है, and that is something which has pulled Pakistan cricket. I'm not saying that is one. There are multiple reasons, but you feel कि आपके साथ नाइंसाफी हो रही है, which is completely understandable.
yeah,
कि यार पूरा it's like पूरा दुनिया पार्टी पे जा रहा है, बस आपको इनवाइट नहीं किया हमने, and that is like very rude.
yeah,
But let's see now.
yeah,
Hopefully there'll be a time when we get to see
yeah,
Shaheen play in an IPL match. I hope very soon. But yeah, let's see.
yeah, 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 yeah. But some other things like you can learn a lot about other cultures. You know, in India,
Huh.
it's not just one culture. You have different culture
Yeah.
in each city.
Yeah,
Uh,
correct.
and I think our players can learn a lot, not only about India, but even the fans. They can learn a lot about India because since a cricket fan, I don't know how much they would lift a book and read about India, but they can definitely learn a lot when they are watching cricket, and they learn where Bangalore is and how their culture is, and how much how they are rivals to Chennai and so on, and what are the cultural differences and so on. So I think there is a lot that even Pakistani fans and cricket players themselves they can learn by being involved in IPL, and that would surely improve the relationship between the two countries. And yeah,
Exactly. यार वही देख लो कि you look at how Bangalore has adopted AB de Villiers. They like AB de Villiers test match खेलने आया था for South Africa, and
yeah,
when he walked in, he was cheered on by the fans.
yeah,
Okay, Kieran Pollard, जब he is basically Mumbai's son right now. मुंबई में उसको इतना मानते हैं. वार्नर तो हैदराबाद के लिए ही लाडला बन गया है. So
mm,
imagine someone like Shaheen, Babar, Shadab,
yeah,
and Amir coming, and
yeah. Imagine
obviously
that.
अगर या imagine कि उन लोग अपने अपने मैचेस टीम को मैचेस जिताते हैं,
mm,
एक दो तीन चार whatever how many matches they play, they win their sides because of their performances. The whole perception, fans don't care कि आप किधर से आते हैं, as long as you win the matches for your team at the end of the day.
yeah.
Okay, तो वो
Uh, mm,
एक बार जीत गए तो आपको इतनी खुशी आ जाती है, you don't, it doesn't matter who you are. as long as you have won your team the match, तो वो प्यार बढ़ जाता है. So all that thing, hopefully one day, because I really think sports can, like, build friendships. बस होता नहीं है. That's a different story for another day.
Yeah, I remember कि जब पाकिस्तान ने चेन्नई में टेस्ट मैच जीता था 99 में, तो उसके बाद चेन्नई के सपोर्टर्स जो वहाँ पे जो फैंस थे स्टेडियम के अंदर, they stayed in the stadium and they clapped the Pakistani team. And when India came to Pakistan in 2004 and they won the test series in Lahore, and then the Lahori fans, they stayed in the stadium and they clapped the Indian team. So that was when they were rivals. But when they are when your players are when Pakistani players are playing in an Indian team with Indian players and they win an Indian franchise team cricket match, surely there will be a lot of love for those cricket players. And I think that can build good relationship between the people. I don't know as much about the governments. They can carry on playing their games, but I think the people, they can benefit a lot as well.
Yeah, once people look, as long as people watch cricket, unko cricket is the easiest language for people throughout India and Pakistan. Like, वो culture कितना भी different हो, people born in cricket, तो वो बात आती है. And if that happens, then it's a beautiful thing to see, actually.
Yeah, definitely. But hopefully we will be able to see that in next few years.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But Clive, thank you very much for your insights about IPL.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, hopefully we will have you back again in future. But
hopefully,
until then, keep
for the
yourself
National
safe.
T20 Cup.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Good night, then. Bye.
Good night. Thanks a lot for having me. Take care. Stay safe.
Yeah. Bye.